يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope everyone is doing well. So I am back, alhamdulillah, planning more time to do more videos. Looking sharp, looking neat. Assalamu alaikum. Yo, what's up? How you doing? So the sun is out, which is why I'm wearing my shades today to make this video. And the lighting is all good, so alhamdulillah. Perfectionist mindset. Really gotta go. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Nabil al-Malibari. Do support the channel. I'm trying to grow this channel, inshallah, to post more content weekly. So today's video is going to be interesting. Last time I asked you guys for some questions that you want me to answer, some personal questions, not too personal, but yeah, something about myself and thoughts, and I've compiled a couple of them on my laptop over here. Laptop too heavy. No, actually it's not that heavy. Anyways, I'm currently in my hotel room. I'm in Hong Kong. I'll be attending a Maulid event shortly in about a couple of hours. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. On to the questions, inshallah. Bismillah. So first question, how old are you? Wow, first question, and it's the wrong question. I never asked someone what's their age. This is actually a legit thing. Don't ask someone for their age. Imam Malik, for example, someone asked him about some questions like how old are you, something like that, and Imam Malik said akbil ala sha'nik, mind your own business. This is what Imam Malik said. So from here our scholars say that there are a couple of things that best not to share with people. Number one is your age, because from your age they'll try to judge you to a certain extent. Oh, he's still young, why is he teaching knowledge of the deen, and so on and so forth. Or he's old, he's far from our age, so on and so forth. Number one is your age. Number two is your private life or your personal life, with your spouse, and so on and so forth. Number three is the amount of knowledge that you've acquired, like who have you studied with, and so on and so forth. Number four is your financials. Don't tell people about your financials. Okay. Anyways, if you've many of you have been following my work. I'm not that I think everyone knows my age because it's already in the open. I'm 30 years old. 30 years old. Subhanallah. My life just flashed by. 30 years old. Halfway. Probably shorter. Inshallah, long life in goodness. Next question. Anyways, what is your job? You seem to be doing a lot of things. That's a very good question. So I used to be a drone engineer. I still have hopes of becoming an engineer in the drone sector in the future, or in the aviation sector, having my own company in the future, inshallah. At the moment I create content online. At the moment I teach Arabic on a different platform. There's also a YouTube channel dedicated to it called Al-Itqan Academy, or Arabic Mastery Academy, where I teach people how to master the Arabic language quickly. Because I feel that the problems that the Ummah is facing today all boils down to the fact that we are weak in the Arabic language. Like, we are unable to understand what is majaz, what is rhetoric, and so on and so forth. And because of that, we have so many different opinions and problems within the Ummah. So that's just my perspective. I also have a different platform called the Infinity Network. It started out as a freelance editing company where I take clients on Fiverr or Upwork and I edit videos for other people and I gain my paycheck from there. It's only recent where I decided to go solo and try to build a video company for the Ummah and spreading Islamic videos and stuff. Do support that channel as well. Next question. Does age matter for you when it comes to looking for a wife? Oh, another personal question there. Yes, sir. Actually, age doesn't matter. As Muslims, we take our reference from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That should be the answer. Like, from the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he married someone that is older, Sayyidatina Khadija radiyallahu ta'ala anha, the lady that he loved the most, Sayyidatina Khadija. No one can replace her. So he gave us the reference. From his life alone, we we should educate ourselves that even if it's not okay for you personally, generally it should be okay. Maybe it's just your personal preference. You want someone that's younger, that's fine. But general wise, you have to understand that it is fine for a lady to be older than the guy in terms of finding a partner, right? So for me, I take the same stance as well. She doesn't have to be younger than me. She can be older than me as well. The thing that I look out for is compatibility in not all aspects of life, just faith wise. Because I feel that if we're grounded in faith, like truly, not merely someone who's religious per se, because there's a lot of people who have problems. I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying that sometimes people, when they get too religious or too practicing, whatever that means, they tend to be judgy and naggy and stuff. So I'm talking about faith, which covers akhlaq and so on and so forth. So if someone has that aim, just that aspect, and I can vibe with, I think that's fine, inshallah. Yeah, personal question, huh? Okay, next question. Are you currently looking for a wife? If yes, what kind of wife are you looking for? I just answered that question. Question number 5. How to be able to read more? Ooh, this is a very good question. Personally, I used to hate reading. When I was younger, I hated reading because I realized that the books that I was given are fictional books, and the other alternative was newspapers at that point of time. And the newspaper at that point of time was heavily twisted to support the government and so on and so forth. No, I don't have any problems with the government and come after me. I just have this attitude where I have to consume information or learn from a fair standpoint. This is my mindset whenever I was young. Whenever I want to learn, I need to ensure that it's fair. You shouldn't teach me something that is from the lens of just one perspective. It's very unfair to me because I'm just concerned about the truth. So when I was younger, I was given these two options, and that was the reason why I hated reading. As I grow older, I'm old, I developed this love for reading, and it stemmed from my love of memorizing the Qur'an. Since young, me and my siblings would compete to memorize the Qur'an, specifically the last juz of Juz Amma. And I realized that I was the better one to memorize Juz Amma at that point in time. So I never really hated reading per se, but I just loved reading religious books or books that pertain to my faith. And then the dawn of doing da'wah online, the emergence of Sheikh Ahmed Didad al-Marhoum propelled my love for reading. My first ever book that I bought with my own money, well, actually with my dad's money, yeah, with my dad's money, was a book on stories of the prophets. And it was from then that I developed this love for reading. So for you to develop a love for reading, look for books that you are interested in reading. I'm sure everyone has something that you're interested in, whether it be comics, whether it be finance, investing, editing, self-help books, novels, so on and so forth. Some people are more inclined to reading religious books, so on and so forth. You do you. Just find something that you're interested in and then grow from there. You'll realize that the more you read, the more your brain is inquisitive. Your brain wants to, the more your brain wants to read. The nutrition for your brain is reading. This is what I realized. So yeah, just develop that from your own interest. So question number 6, what is your current read? Any favorites? Ooh, what is my current read? Let me get it for you. So this is my current read. Don't judge me. Is My Other Half by Nia B, a sweet and soft halal romance. You can get it. I've not done with the book yet. So far, so good. It's an interesting read. I like it when it's real. I like it when life is real, in the sense that you're not afraid to share learning points from your mistakes. I don't like it when people project themselves to be perfect, 100%. Khalas, like, ooh, I'm an angel, everything's perfect for me. Like in life, as human beings, we will make mistakes. You have to embrace that. Like, don't be judgy when people make mistakes. Everyone's gonna make mistakes. The point to note is you have to learn from your mistakes. That's something not many people are. Not many people learn from their mistakes. So, not sure if I can recommend this yet because I'm not done with this yet. But if it's good, I'll recommend it. If you want to read it on your own, you can get it on Amazon. inshallah. I'll put the link in the description below as well for you. Oh, any favorites? Here's something that you need to know about me. I am this is something I coined. I am a chronic bookworm. I've been reading so many books of different genres, and my mind doesn't want to stop reading. It wants to keep on reading and reading and reading. I have tons of books on my laptop. I have tons of books at home, next on my table, next to my bed, on my bookshelves. My mind just loves reading. So it's very difficult for me to pick any favorites. I can share some books that are very beneficial. One of it is the Qur'an. I know people will be like, we all know that, blah blah. But do you really mean it? That's a question to answer. But if you study the inner dimensions or the subtleties of the Qur'an, it will teach you to appreciate the language that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used in His words. We learn a lot of the things about life from the Qur'an. So it is one of my favorites. No, it's my favorite. Cringe. Okay, next question, whatever. How do you deal with toxic people? Oh, this is a very good question. First of all, like I said, I want to be fair when I explain certain issues. You have to be very careful when you use these types of words. Toxic, abuse, because people define this is what I get from the experiences of different people. Sometimes it's not abuse. Like what you're experiencing, it's not abuse, it's not toxic, it's not toxicity, it's just how you perceive it. Like for example, I got a question from this couple, this wife. I'm not going to share too much, but she said her husband abused her. I didn't press for too much information, I just acknowledged it. But later on she confessed that what she meant by abuse is that her husband tells her to cook. Like, she felt that she was abused just because her husband told her to cook. So to me, that's how is that abuse? It could be just a request from the husband. So different people define abuse and toxicity as different ways. Now I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt that when you define the word abuse or toxicity, you're defining it the correct way. In other words, your perspective is correct. Like truly, that person is being very abusive to you. In the correct sense of the word. Truly, that person is toxic. So, in this perspective, I have to be very careful because I have to be very fair in explaining these types of things. Sorry, because I don't want to blame people, unnecessarily. I don't like blaming people while not being fair. So how do you deal with toxic people? First of all, communication is number one, especially if you're experiencing those types of things from your spouse, or if it's your friends, it's very easy. Just remove them from your life. Slowly, gradually remove them from your life and spend your time with good people. People who push you to be better human beings, people who guide you to be better human beings, people who, just merely being around them, you feel connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are, if those toxicity or abuse is from your friends, if it's from your partner, you understand your partner better than me. If communication doesn't work, then seek help outside of that relationship, because no one should still be in that relationship if it's very abusive and it's very toxic. It's like no one should be treated that way. A lady shouldn't be treated that way. A man shouldn't be treated that way as well. So if you feel that communicating your feelings and your thoughts and emotions with your partner is not going to work, because I don't know your partner, you might know your partner better than me. If you feel that option is not going to work, then seek help from outside your immediate or your direct relationship. So go to your family members first. If that doesn't work, seek help from a therapist. Actually, you can do that concurrently as well. Yeah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease your affairs, because it's very difficult for me to give a curated answer here, because it has to be specific. I can only make dua that everything goes well for you. Oh, this is another question I get a lot. What is your technique to memorize the Qur'an? There's no secret technique. It's just constant repetition, but I add more elements to it, that is understanding and implementing the Qur'an. I started memorizing the Quran because I was challenged by a friend of mine, and because I was from a secular background. So he thought that it would be impossible for me to memorize the Quran. So I took up the challenge and I started memorizing the Quran. And in 6 months, I've memorized half the Quran. No joke. Pure memorization. It took me a while, 6 months. It took me a lot of sacrifice in terms of sleep as well. I'll be up late at night just to memorize, and my mom could testify to this. But the problem is, after I've memorized half of the Quran, I started to forget them like 2 weeks after I've completed half of it. So slowly and steady, it slipped away from my mind. And I realized that at that point, I didn't understand what I was memorizing. I understood a bit, but I didn't understand most of it. I didn't implement, in other words, I didn't study it deeper. I just studied it face value. And at that point of time, I realized that my intention was wrong. My intention of memorizing the Quran was because I was challenged by a friend of mine, and I did it to prove that person wrong. So when I realized that intention was wrong, I changed my intention. I told myself, I don't care about when I finish memorizing the Quran. I just want to understand what I'm memorizing, strengthen my memory. I want to implement what I'm memorizing. So that's something I changed. And the second half of the Quran took me 9 years to complete. Started when I was 16, ended when I was 25. Yeah, around there. Total, it took me 9 years, 1 month, and 1 day to finish memorizing the entire Quran. Technique that I use is what we call the burn technique. It's something I curated for myself. It's where you recite the first verse 20 times while looking at the Mus'haf, and then you recite it 20 times without looking at the Mus'haf, and then you recite it 20 times doing the burn technique. In other words, you're reciting very slow, but you're focusing entirely on the tajweed. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Something like that. Very slow, and you read it 20 times. And when you're doing that burn technique, it's gonna etch. The verses is gonna be etched in your brain, inshallah. And then you do that for successive verses. So 20, 20, 20. Move on to the second verse, 20, 20, 20. And then do those two, 20, 20, 20. Move on, third verse, 20, 20, 20, so on and so forth, until you strengthen your memory. And what you'll realize is, by the time you finish a page, more or less that design of the page is going to be in your mind. It's not a photographic memory kind of thing. It's just something that you can pick out from the edges of the pages, from the middle of the pages. Oh, this verse starts here, this verse starts there. This is the last word of the page. This is the middle word of the verse, so on and so forth. But istiqamah is very important. Istiqamah and having the right intention as well. Always do things for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and always have istiqamah. Istiqamah means being consistent, not consistent like that, consistent like that. You're constantly improving yourself as you go. You're gonna fall, but you have to pick yourself up. You're gonna fall again, pick yourself up, keep going. The net movement is upwards. So that's it for our questions. There's no more questions here on my laptop because I just compiled a few. I hope this video has been very beneficial, inshallah. Till next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace. Bye. Back to holiday mode.